Last year, after the Homesteading Life Conference, we learned about the Homesteading Ladies group, and I found interest in it because it is a group that they have in different areas where ladies actually meet up, they help each other with things, and I was really dismayed when we came back here to Texas and there was no local chapters. I'm too busy to start something like that, but I wanted to find something like that to be a part of it.
Hi, I'm Josh Ellis.
I'm Katie Ellis, and we live in East Texas on 41 acres. We've only lived here for about a year, so this lifestyle is semi-new to us, even though we've had land and stuff in the past. But living it this way and with children and as a family is all new. It's something we've kind of like had to figure out over the last year, and having a community makes it a lot easier.
In my pursuit of finding groups of like-minded people that I could learn stuff from, because we weren't born this way, there's a bunch of different skill sets we need to learn, I found some homesteading groups on Facebook. It was really general. Texas is huge, and we would find stuff and it would be like 6 hours away, stuff that we really couldn't go to. And I happened to stumble across the East Texas Homestead Co-op group, and I'm just amazed by what they have going on.
I guess I'm kind of a problem solver by nature. So I feel like everybody comes together on platforms like Facebook, and they want to find people near them, or they want to learn how to do something, or they're always kind of like, if somebody is willing to teach me, I'm ready to come to your homestead, I'll help you. Or I felt like I just kept seeing the same types of posts all the time. And I know for me specifically, after COVID, and then also moving to a place that I knew zero people at all, I had this want of like in-person community. And so every time we saw a post, or I saw a post of somebody saying, who's in my area? How do I find somebody? How can I learn these things? I just had this idea of like, if we were to start something that is focused on in-person meetups, but also kind of alongside that, as a homesteader, your to-do list is endless. And I know as two adults, we can only get so much done, even though we're like able and young-ish. Very
young.
I always say
very
old,
young.
Just to like poke fun. But so we're able, but like we can only get so much done. And so I thought like one part of it is building community, but also another part of it is like if you have people come together, and even if that's 10 other adults, they can accomplish so much in one day on one homestead that would probably take the average person, especially, and just either take away age or take away a adult from that homestead or whatever, and you're probably going to get done months worth of work in one day. And how cool would that be to like have the ability of helping people with to-do lists?
Right away, we noticed a huge difference in this group. It's actually promoting interaction, actual community stuff. You have to be involved and go to different groups.
So I think for me, the biggest thing was in person, because homestead groups on Facebook are on Facebook and people can say whatever they want. A lot of them, they're national, and so it's not speaking to your specific area. So somebody who does something great in California is not going to work here in East Texas.
Something I was curious about is what the criteria was for people to be in this group, because it's a varied group that has come to homesteading. We're empty nesters. There's young family with children. So we asked.
We were basically wondering, do we have to have any type of experience? Do we have to be a certain age? Do we have to have a background in this? And they basically told us this.
And so for me, it all came down to inclusivity. So that, to me, inclusivity means that we do not discriminate based on age, gender, ability, disability, anything along those lines, right? Religion, race, whatever. So inclusivity means everybody, always everybody. And so as we're going through this process and as we're going through this journey, of leading this group and getting it to this point. You know, we have over 2,000 people in the group right now. It's everybody. It's people who live in the city.
We have single moms.
Yeah, people
people
who
who
want
are
to homestead at some point.
We have people who live in apartments still.
There's
They
people
just-
practicing in their classroom, and their classroom is an apartment sometimes.
Yeah.
And we have people who have been farming for 30 years who come out and they're like, holy crap, I never knew this type of thing existed. I never knew regenerative agriculture existed. Teach me more about that.
Oh my gosh.
That's where the community is. Because I don't want to live in a vacuum of people who all say the same thing. I want us to be able to discuss and have discourse and civilly disagree about things. But like we were discussing at the very beginning, is I've adopted the role of the dad of the group, which is I'm the disciplinarian. I'm the one that gets on to people. I'm the one that
It's my nature to be that way.
Yeah, but I draw a hard line on it and I don't waver, because either you're gonna like it and you're gonna love it and you're gonna want some more of it.
Yeah.
Or you're not, and you're gonna leave. And ultimately, I'm okay with either of those scenarios, because if you're not bought into the philosophy that Katie and I are trying to put together in this group and the community we're trying to build, then what that means is you're more likely going to be a detractor and somebody who disrupts our community.
So people come to homesteading for a variety of reasons. And I think that a lot of the things that we do classes on are things that, like, before it would be a generational knowledge that got passed down. And now we have generations and generations of people who have lived in the city, and there's no one to learn from. And thankfully there's YouTube, but like there's nothing like hands-on learning. I mean, you just literally cannot get the feel of something unless you're doing it in person, sitting there with your hands doing it. And that was my focus for classes, is to try to find things that homesteaders need to know. And it's literally all over the board. So this could be chicken butchering, it could be pig butchering, it could be canning, it could be making your own colloidal silver, it could be soap making, bread making. We try to keep things, because again we're focusing on community, we try to keep things between 10 and 15 people, because we think that is kind of the sweet spot for people meeting each other, remembering each other's names, feeling comfortable to talk and have questions. Because yeah, sure, we're here to learn, but I can't tell you how many times that one little class led to 3 new friendships, or finding somebody who lived really close to you that you never knew existed. We actually had a class here not too long ago, and there was 3 women who found out that they lived in the same little town on the same street.
What class was this?
It was the foraging class. We did a foraging edibles class here on our farm. And so sure, they left with the knowledge of foraging, but they also left with the knowledge that they have, 3 people with the same mindset, the same goals, the same, everything, starting off homesteading within a 1-mile radius that they would have never found with a regular Facebook group. Like, there's no way to be like, hey, I'm on this street. Is anybody on this street with me? Like, you would kind of probably come off a little crazy if you posted that. But here, like, we're finding the ability of that community while also learning. Everything's hands-on. And like I said, it's just across the board. We've done so many different classes. We started off our first month with classes with 4 events. Mm-hmm. Now we average 12 events a month.
Oh, wow.
And that's like, it's classes, it's Homestead Kids play dates, it's our work and learn events, which are actually kind of what I had originally based the group off of. That's like our biggest type of event per month. And that goes back to what I was saying about, like, if 10 adults come to your farm, you can get all your to-do list done in one day versus it taking you months to complete things. And so our work and learns are kind of set up in that way, where we have projects set out and we say, hey, everybody come gather at this homestead. And everybody comes and we get those projects knocked out. We eat, we have social time, we chat.
So the last work and learn, we had 50 adults and 25 kids show up, because we always say that homesteading is a family affair. So there's no, I'm going to leave Tommy or I'm going to leave Jane at home. Bring them. Like, they're welcome. They are here. They're part of the whole journey. And so we had 50 adults, we had 25 kids, and we did over 200 man hours of work on a farm. And so we cut down trees, we planted raised beds, we put down weed fabric, we did all of this stuff that the couple that we did it for, it would have taken them 6 months. It took us 4 total hours, but because there's 50 adults there, it was over 200 man hours worth of work.
So as y'all know, Texas is huge, and we wanted to know what areas that she considered East Texas.
I just thought like East Texas is like East Texas, which is just this area. Well, no, East Texas is like an 8-hour stretch.
And
of
Texas
like,
is huge,
Texas
by the
is
way.
huge. And so I just said East Texas Homestead Co-op, and then I realized like people from like East, like Gulf, were like joining, and I was like, oh God, I mean that's great, but.
That actually means the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah.
like the coast of,
Yeah. So it was, which we actually had people drive from Southeast
5 hours.
Texas,
5 hours.
5 or 6 hours to our classes. We have people drive all the time.
I was super curious what the furthest somebody has driven, because East Texas, I mean, that's like, I think it could take like 6 hours from north to south, East Texas.
I guess East Texas, I thought it was just Upper East Texas. I don't know, the term like piney woods is kind of like what it's called, because you kind of cross over into this section where it's just like pine trees everywhere, and so I guess I was thinking more like that, and I didn't realize just how large East Texas was, or like how far it expanded into people who considered themselves to live in East Texas. So once I realized, and I don't know, this might have been like a couple of months in, whenever we really were growing so fast, and I started getting a lot of people say, well, your events aren't near me. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, I can only manage such like a specific area. I can't be coming up with events at the Gulf of Mexico, because I'm like, 6-7 hours away. So I decided to change the verbiage a little bit just in our group to say that we are focusing on Upper East Texas, Northeast Texas, some people call it, basically within 2 hours of Tyler. So Tyler is kind of one of the bigger cities in the Upper East Texas area. So I said within 2 hours, and I think that if anybody wants to join and they want to drive, like I'm setting forth the idea of like this is the region, but we have people who drive every single time. So we've had somebody drive from Southeast Texas near the Gulf. It was about 6 hours for her. We also had somebody drive from Abilene, which is like West Texas, and that I think came out to be about 6 hours for her as well. So the first one, she drove for one of our herbal classes. So we have a wonderful herbalist who does amazing classes, and I think it was tincture making. So she drove 6 hours. She even got a hotel. She stayed in a hotel like that night or the night before so she could come to the tincture making class. And
we had
then
a whole family that came from Houston.
Yeah.
That's probably 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's for the chicken butchering class.
Yeah, chicken butchering class. They drove with their whole family 4.5 hours. We had somebody who drove for another herbal class. We had somebody who drove from Austin, which I think was about the same, about 4 hours. The Abilene class, it was for our permaculture class. So we did our permaculture 101 class, and so she drove from Abilene.
But it wasn't even that she wanted to come to the permaculture 101 class. She just wanted to come to one of our events to see how we were doing events.
Yeah, she was so interested in it. She was one of the ones who was starting a sister group, and she was so interested in kind of getting it going the right way. That
like
she
a legit sister group.
Yeah, like she wanted to come and do it, basically do a class, kind of see how we do things so that she could duplicate that in her area in West Texas.
One of the reasons that we wanted to highlight this couple is we see them doing something very different than I've seen in any other group, and it needs to be in other places. This is something that is building communities where we are. We are doing so many things, becoming more active in our community, and they actually welcome you to contact them, and we will provide their email information down below so that you can join them in starting a sister group. They will mentor you to start this in your area because it's needed.
Now, since Texas is huge and you probably won't be able to make a lot of these events, they do offer a virtual Q&A every now and then. And what that will do is that presenter will be able to present their information while allowing you to ask any type of question that you may have on that particular item.
And for example, they did a farmer's market one where I learned about cottage laws. They actually had a manager of a farmer's market that covered a varied amount of information that made me feel like I know what I'll get into if we actually go and do a farmer's market.
So the Q&A, we get the questions from the group.
Yeah.
So we post it like it's an event, and they go into the event in Facebook and they post all their questions, and then I interview that person, just me and them. And then we stream that live into the Facebook group so that anybody who's interested can watch it or rewatch it or watch it 3 days
It's always
later.
in the group, so if they come back, 6 months later and they want to watch it again, they can. Or if anybody who's new to the group wants to watch it, they can.
Now, a really valuable asset to this couple is that Josh, he has a background in marketing, and he's been able to work out bulk buy discounts and codes and stuff like that for this community. So that is something that we benefited from, because they actually did a community bulk buy for this group on Cornish crosses, which we're growing out right now, and they were only $1 a chick because we did it as a community.
So another thing is great about a big group of people wanting to do something is we can get some great deals on things if we all go together and buy. So
Well, that's the entire reason I was able to schedule
Right.
this, is I'm here to
Exactly.
get Cornish crosses.
So we did a Cornish cross bulk buy, the very first one we did. So we're on our second round now. The very first one, I got 1,700 chickens ordered from the group. And it took 2 cars to go and load them up and bring them home, because we don't ship them. We go to a local hatchery. And so we had 1,700 chickens for people. We've done egg cartons. I had a semi pull up to our house and deliver egg cartons because we ordered 2,500 of them for the group. And there's been a couple of other like random bulk buys, but
And then I also go and I leverage the size of the group, because marketing is my background. So I leverage the size of the group to go get group-specific promo codes for Texas-based businesses to support Texas-based economy, but also to be able to give back to our members. And so one of them is a poultry shrink wrap bag company, because we had ordered 1,700 chickens. I knew in 7 to 8 weeks we were going to need 1,700 shrink wrap bags for the group.
they're not affiliate codes. They're
we
promo
don't
codes.
We don't make money off of any of the promo codes. We don't make money off of any of our instructors.
Yeah.
We facilitate you showing up at our instructors' homesteads, and you give them money.
Yeah.
You don't give us money. We
So
never
if
touch it.
somebody's hosting a class and they have 10 people who are paying them $25, those 10 people show up and give that host $25. I plan the class, but this isn't and has never been about making money. And that's also, I think, a huge difference in this group, is that we are very, very, very against anybody coming into the group just to use it for advertising. Because this is a community, and if you build community and you meet people, then you will sell your goods, because people are going to come to you because they know you. If you come to the community and the first thing you do is post that this is your business and people come and help, buy from me, I think it's almost gotten to the point where the culture within the community is that, oh no, that's not what this place is for. Like, and people, and not that they'll call them out on it, but I've definitely gotten messages from people saying they don't understand how this group works. Or, even people getting sassy, because Facebook groups, that's just how they are. But we have the culture of like, we don't let people be rude. We don't let people say, off-color comments. We don't let people fight and bicker. Like, that is shut down immediately.
I have not found any other resource where I can go and learn about tinctures or identifying plants. Classes as little as $25. These are very reasonable things. Even to go butcher a chicken, $25. Butchering a pig, $25. These are skill sets that a lot of us didn't grow up with, and this group is providing it and building community and learning other people what their needs are. They have something that we might need, and this bartering, we're starting to barter with people in this community.
Now, a thing I like about them, you can learn a lot of things watching YouTube, asking friends and family, but until you get your hands-on training, that's where you gain your knowledge at. You can gain the introductory skills of 101 of how to do different things, but until you get your hands on, that's when you're going to put that into experience.
For us, I say that Katie and I share like a lot of things in common. We've been together forever. We've grown up together. But most importantly, the biggest thing that we do that sets us apart from other people is that we just go do stuff. And whether it's right, wrong, and different, whether it's ugly, falling apart, whatever, we do it, and then we adjust, and we do it, and we adjust, and we do something else until we finally get it right. And so I made the confession to Tori and Sid at our chicken butchering classes. We had only ever butchered chickens one other time before we had our first class. Granted, our first class was free, so you know,
And it went well.
It did go well. Everybody loved it, but we just go and we do the thing until we can figure out how to do it. And I think that that's what keeps most people
Analysis
inside,
paralysis.
right? And keeps them, you know, not being successful is that for most people it has to be absolutely perfect before they'll go and do